Thank my colleagues. So normally Senator Helmy would be next, but in the spirit of collegiality, he has indicated he'd like Senator Casey to be next. So Senator Casey, welcome.
Mr. Chairman, thanks very much. I appreciate this opportunity, Mr. Johnson. Great to be with you. I wanted to start with what we've already made reference to in this hearing, and Senator Cortez Masto made reference to, and I'll just reiterate it because it's about as essential as anything, and that's the absolute independence that you must exercise in this role. There are a few roles in government where the kind of independence that you've got to demonstrate will be as important in your work as the Inspector General for administration at the Treasury Department. I have some experience with this. When I was a state official, I was a elected state auditor general in our state. Many states call it the auditor, or some other terms like comptroller or controller. But I learned in that position about how essential it was to be truly independent. So that meant if you were doing an audit or an investigation of a state agency, whether it was during a Democratic administration or Republican administration, you had to call it as you saw it, and you had to be tough-minded about being independent. And I know you take that responsibility seriously. And I just want to ask you a couple questions that in essence reiterate some of the points that were made earlier, but I think it's important for people to hear a recitation of that before we have a vote on your confirmation. First, do you agree that the tax system should be impartial and fair, and that tax policy should be administered without regard to politics or without regard to personal agendas, whether that the politics or personal agenda would be that of a IRS employee or the Treasury Secretary or any member of Congress in either House of Congress or even the President of the United States?
Yes, I believe that the administration of our tax laws should be faithful to the statutes that Congress has passed.
And as Inspector General, would you maybe get a better sense of what you would do? I'll frame it that way. As Inspector General, what would you do to ensure the integrity of our nation's tax system and to prevent and expose interference in tax administration by future administrations of either party?
So I do believe that combating fraud, waste, and abuse is one of the core mandates of any Inspector General, and something that would be high on the priority list for TIGTA if I were confirmed as that Inspector General. If you look at my background and experiences, I've been doing that virtually since I got out of law school, from working for a federal judge, which again is an apolitical position, to being a federal prosecutor, an SEC enforcement attorney, and now a senior executive at NOIG. It's instilled in my being, the fiber of my being, to be independent. And I also believe in the rule of law. And the Inspector General Act provides very clear direction on how inspectors are supposed to act and what they're supposed to do, and that is to be independent and objective units within an agency. And so that means, by statute, I need to be nonpartisan, unbiased, and calling balls and strikes, and making sure that I'm identifying the most impactful issues for Congress to take action, for the agency head to take action, and that when you get information from me, it's going to be something that will be reliable, because ultimately, Inspectors General do not have authority to make any changes at an agency. All we can do is shine a light on issues that we believe are important. Policymakers, such as Congress, make the ultimate decisions about legislation and appropriation of funds. And if I am not providing accurate information that is unbiased, then what I'll be writing down in reports will be unheeded. And so I believe that the reputation for TIGTA and every Inspector General is paramount to their success. And I want my Inspector General, my Office of Inspector General, if I'm confirmed, to be successful, and that will be based on the fact that every member of this committee, every member of Congress can rely on the fact-finding and recommendations coming out of my office.
Thanks very much. Thanks, Mr. Chairman.
Thank my colleague. Senator Helm?